This lesson is called Know Thyself. This is lesson number 1. And what I mean by know thyself is you have to know what causes you to tick. What are your tick triggers? You also need to understand the things in your life that are out of balance. And although it's not always possible to bring everything in your life in balance and harmony, or we'd all be running around happy like pigs in mud, right? There's always going to be problems in life, or always problems to deal with. We'll always have stress to deal with, but the secret is to understand how to deal with that stress. And when we deal with that stress in the right way, then we trigger a response in our body of healing and recovery. But when we deal with stress in the wrong way, we trigger the fight or flight response, which puts our body in a state of not healing. So there's a lot of medical research, even in Western culture today, over this fight or flight response and what it does to your body's ability to heal and to recover. So it is imperative that we learn how to manage stress when it happens, but more importantly, after the stress happens, so that we can de-stress ourselves. So that is huge in mastering Tourette syndrome, is understanding how to de-stress yourself. So there's a worksheet here. It's for lesson 1. It's called Know Thyself. And there are 6 questions on the worksheet. And the first question is simply asking you to identify the key factors in your daily life that lead to stressful or emotional situations, right? So you need to be able to identify those. Each day might bring something new, but that when that happens, you'll understand, hey, this was a stressful situation. Did this trigger my fight or flight response? And I need to deal with that. So I need to deal with that in a positive way. That's number 1, is kind of learning that secret. Second one is, how much time each day do you reinvest in yourself? Well, the fact that you're here and you've elected to move forward with this program, you've taken that first step. That's another reason why there is a cost associated with MTS. Because if it's worth something to you and you invested in it, then you're probably going to follow through, because nobody likes to waste their money. So that's your money. You do with it as you wish, but the fact that you chose to spend under $10 to reinvest in yourself is a huge first step. So just understand or identify whether you're reinvesting in yourself, okay? And this is off the cuff, so I apologize for my the way I'm speaking. Just like to keep things real. That's just how I am. Question number 3, what steps have you taken previously to manage your TS, and how effective have those steps been? Are you on medication? Have you tried any type of meditative techniques? Have you tried any other type of alternative techniques? I know there's a lot of stuff going around now about deep brain stimulation, which I'm going to touch on because I agree with that approach to some degree. I think it could be dangerous, but that really comes down to this whole lesson, knowing yourself. You have to know what your limitations are. Don't just take somebody else's word for it. Hey, you need to do this because this is going to help your Tourette's. It might be the fact that you do a deep brain stimulation and you completely freak out and have some type of a LSD type of experience and make your Tourette's worse. Or you might end up with epilepsy or something. So those are things you have to be careful with. I trust doctors, but at the same time, I trust myself first because I know what works for me. So you need to really examine yourself and the approaches that you've taken up to now to really understand how you're going to proceed with managing your own TS. And there's some good books out there on this. That's another thing. I've read a lot of different books on TS, and a lot of my own daily practice comes from a lot of what I've read. So I'll be sharing some book suggestions along the way as well. Question number 5, what is the last time, this is huge, and this might sound a little cheesy to a lot of you, especially you youngsters who are always on your phones, and it's always about your friends and Facebook and Instagram and this and that. So this is the question. When's the last time you just sat in a quiet room, dark room, closed your eyes, listened to the sounds of nature, or recording is something tranquil or peaceful, right? And I know that's not cool, but guess what? You're not here to be cool. You're here to be cool to yourself. You're here to reinvest in yourself and to learn something new. So these are questions that you need to answer, and you can do that on the worksheet. Um, and then question number 6, the last one, do you know your tick triggers, right? Tick triggers, describe what types of events, situations, foods, etc., that make your ticks either worse or better, right? And I can tell you, and we're going to get into this in another lesson, that there are a lot of foods, there are some supplements that are really good that aid with the balance of dopamine in your body. And again, I'm no doctor, but I know what works for me. So again, what works for me might not work the best for you. So you might take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, apply it, trial and error. Again, this is about life mastery of your TS. This is not a, hey, fix me tomorrow. This is a, hey, I'm going to reinvest in myself. I'm going to figure out what makes me tick. You can look at that 2 ways. Tick as in tick, or tick as in how I roll, right? So these are things for you to go through and answer. Keep your own journal. Keep this documented on your computer, print it out, whatever, so that you can come back to this later, because your answers now, I can promise you, are going to change as we go through this process. So again, thank you for being here, and that's lesson number 1. And lesson number 2, we'll be talking about some health practices along the lines of food, diet, exercise, supplements that might work for you. So I'm going to share several, and I'm just going to give you some examples of what I do in my daily life to help with my Tourette syndrome. So thank you. Good luck. Be honest with your questions. Nobody else is going to see them. These are just for you. Take care. God bless.